Hello everyone, this is Direwolf20, and welcome to episode 48 of Direwolf20's Let's Play series. I'm just making one more little tweak or change to this redstone generator setup. I want to add Beef Wellington to this setup, which doesn't seem to be too hard, and totally seems to be doable. So what I'm doing right now is testing that I don't need to filter on the inputs, and it doesn't look like it will allow Beef Wellington to go into the heated redstone generators, which is good. It means I don't need to put a filter on these guys. Sweet. So what I'm going to do then is put the culinary gen down. I'm guessing he's going to have to go here so that I can get a conduit hooked up to him. Conduits, check. And then what we'll do is we will put the filter on him for single item. And this dude. And now you should be getting Beef Wellington. That produces what now? 102 RF a tick. Makes sense. So let's throw a few speed upgrades in there. That's 408. Let's throw like a few. Let's like 600-ish RF a tick. That's pretty cool, right? That'll burn through the Beef Wellington pretty quickly and produce 126,000 RF, like very quickly, which is cool. And then this guy's getting the redstone signal. The only thing I'm going to do is filter on these. So I've got a filter for Beef Wellington here, and then what I'm going to do is set up. I'm going to want more redstone. Hopefully this will connect. We're going to find out. Nope. Redstone. You might need to then... Look at me playing with vanilla redstone. Haha. There you go. Nice. Cool. All right, good deal. That'll work. And then piping like this. So you're probably going to need a handful of speed upgrades as well. You had 6 in there. You know what, I'm going to say 3 will be good for you and 6 will be good for you. That should work, right? Yeah, that should be cool. So now, when this guy needs power again, like this, these should all run, right? We should see Beef Wellington making its way into here, and redstone making its way into these guys. Nice. So that will supplement my random amounts of power gen going on back here, and hopefully that'll be cool. We'll have to keep an eye on our Beef Wellington stock. I shouldn't be using too much of it, but we'll keep an eye on it. And just like with the redstone stuff that we set up last episode, you know, when this guy doesn't need power, he won't be running. That should work. For now. We're definitely going to want to make our power production a little bit nicer in the end, but there's a lot to do in this series, as we've discovered. So last episode, we also set up a little cobbleworks, which, by the way, works beautifully. Check it out. 8 stacks of gravel, glass, and sand just sitting here, ready to be used. Gravel, sand, and glass is all good. The one addition that I made is I set up a trash can with a filter in it for sand that is right behind the sag mill. And the sag mill is set to push it, right? So what this does is this was producing gravel with a chance for sand every now and then. As you can see here, like a 10% chance for sand. So the sand needed to go somewhere. So we're trashing it right there. And this guy doesn't have that issue, right? Sand in a sag mill. You get it occasionally from gravel, but when you do gravel, it's sand, sand, and flint. And the flint goes into here, and this has a void upgrade in it. So I didn't want to void upgrade my gravel, sand, and glass because that would cause these machines to run endlessly. I want them to get backstuffed. I want them to stop running when we have enough, right? So this is all pretty cool. I like it. What I think I'd like to do at this point in the series is maybe investigate, now because we have so many nether stars, we've got 9, and we can get more, remember, right? A couple episodes back we set up push button kill wither. You know, it's funny because I don't have any soul sand over here. So that's part of it. We're also probably going to need another skeleton skulls. We've got like a stack we can borrow. And soul sand, we're going to want 2 stacks. That should be enough. And if we come over here and drop this over. Sweet. So you're getting the soul sand into here. And in a minute, you know, this will have appropriately spread itself. That'll be good. Yeah, so let's look at Draconic Evolution a little bit. I have to figure out where I'm going to put it, though. There's several crafting... I think there's only one crafting mechanic in Draconic Evolution. And it looks sort of like this. It looks like the Empowerer a bit. And I have to figure out how I want it to work. Well, that's not exactly true. I know how it's going to work. I need to figure out where I'm going to place it. So this is kind of my... I don't really need this here anymore, right? And you could even be moved to, like, elsewhere. So let's put that away. You can sit, like, over here in the corner if you want. Nobody puts a resonator in the corner. Except Direwolf. So if we had... So here's what we need. Okay. There is a mechanic similar to this, but there are 9 display stands. Let's actually just get the Draconic tablet, and that will help us to visualize what we need to do. So the Draconic tablet, this dude, sweet, looks like that. And you can see when you right-click it, it's going to bring up all kinds of cool information about stuff. One of the things we're going to want to get into relatively soon is fusion crafting, which is neat. It's basically similar to Infusion from Thaumcraft and actually additions and all that other stuff. But basically the way it works is you need to set up a center area and then a 3x3 pattern around that center block. So like if this was our center block, right, on any cardinal direction, 1, 2, 3 up and to the left, and in the corners, you could set up your stuff like that, right? And pretty much any distance, right? As you can see here. So it can be really far away if you wanted to, or really close. It really doesn't matter. That's how you want to set up your infusion crafting. My question is, how and where exactly do we want this? And they have to kind of face the thing, right? So it can look cool if you do something like this, right? Like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3... And you have to have about 9 of them. I don't think there's many recipes that need more than 9 infusions. That's really kind of tight for the shape of my room. So let's try and figure out... Give me a minute. I'm going to think about where I want this all to be. So guys, when in doubt, I have a plan. Build another 9x9. Yeah, that's what's up. Oh man, that is just such clear... Like, it almost looks like there's nothing there. But it's mana glass from Britannia. Decided to make that... You know, the roofing. I know, 9x9. What are you going to do? Life goes on. So, with that in mind, we're going to do cool things in here. We're going to set up a infusion area that's going to look something like this. And this is primarily going to be used for infusions with Draconic Evolution. And part of me thinks it would be neat to set up a travel anchor over there. So I just need a pulsating crystal, which needs pulsating. One of you, start. Go ahead, pulsating. Let's go. Thank you. And we're also going to need binder, like 10 of you. Good, so that wall there, and this, and that's it. Cool. So now we have a nice, quick and easy way to get to and from our location. We'll probably also want some lasers getting over here to power this room, but we're going to call this Draconic Room. Cool. So that now, poof, anytime. Hey, I said poof, poof, poof. There we go. Just right click it. Boom. We can get to the Draconic Room rather easily. Nice. So that's going to be our Draconic crafting area. So let's take a look at Draconic Evolution and all the cool stuff that's available in it. There's a lot of neat things, actually. Bunch of cool items, bunch of cool armor. Spotlights by Direwolf 20, hinty hint. If you want to learn more, there's a bunch of powerful tools. There's a bunch of like powerful stuff. It all requires a lot of power, though. That's the only thing that makes me a little bit nervous about this, because my power situation is not great, so we might need to upgrade our power systems soon. But I think we can probably manage to at least get some early game stuff, and I think that's pretty much what I'd like to set up. Like, one of the things I wouldn't mind getting my hands on is the advanced dislocator. Where is that? Yeah, this thing is cool. This thing is actually really powerful and cool, but it does require wyvern crafting, and it costs, in order to craft this one item, is 8 million RF. Just to be clear on the extreme amounts of power that you need for certain things. In order to craft this, we need fusion crafting at the wyvern tier, so we're going to need 8 wyvern crafting tables, which, let's see, fusion crafting, wyvern fusion, yeah, 256,000 RF per fusion crafting injector. And we need 8 of them. So expensive stuff in terms of power, but also really powerful stuff. Let's go pop downstairs real quick. I just want to keep an eye on my power situation. And we might even get into some of the Draconic crystal stuff. There's a neat, like really neat energy network that you can do with Draconic Evolution. So if you haven't seen my mod spotlight on this mod, it's pretty cool. Definitely, again, high amounts of power. But one of the things I might wind up doing, sorry, Alpec, is replacing these lasers. One of the difficulties that I have with them is the fact that the lasers have a shortish range. Like, so between my buildings here, like here to there, I can't go all in one go, right? Like, I need this laser as an intermediary. Bummer. So I might wind up replacing these. Alpec, by the way, has mentioned that he's working on an upgrade system for these that'll allow you to place like range upgrades in them or something. I hope that's not confidential because I just said it. But so that might be something that's changed in the future. But I want to try checking out those Draconic energy crystals. And I think, so we don't super duper need, do we need infusion for this? Crystal relays? Not really. Especially if we want like the low tier, which the low tier has like a large amount of energy stuff. But there's definitely cool things. So higher tier stuff needs Draconic crafting, but we will probably be a while before we get there. So with that in mind, let's get Draconic crafting going. So step 1 will be making a fusion crafting core, okay? Which isn't too bad. We're going to need a few lapis blocks. And we're going to need one of those Draconic cores. So we're going to need a lot of Draconic cores throughout this. So I'm going to teach my crafting system how to make a few of these. So here's what we're going to do. Draconic core, check. And we're also going to need wyvern cores at some point. Expensive. And we're also going to need awakened cores. Nah, we don't need them yet, but we will probably need these. And Draconic energy core, I don't think we're going to need them yet. So those will be a good set of crafting recipes to teach. And I thought I had made more crafters at some point. Maybe I kicked off the crafting. I did. But I did not actually place them in the world. There we go. Cool. So are you guys all filled up now? Nice. So that's step 1. Cool. So if we take a look at Draconic, right, and we want that fusion crafting core, we need a Draconic core, which is just a little bit of draconium ingots, gold, diamond, and draconium. Now we have a handful of draconium dust. We're probably going to want to find more rather rapidly. Really, you can find it in draconium ore, which is spawned very rarely. But it does spawn in the deep dark, as we can see. It's a pretty low percentage in the overworld, right? So I've been getting some from my deep dark quarry that's been running. The other place you can find it, by the way, is in the end. There are some there's some cool stuff in the end. There's like world gen stuff in the end, meteors they're called, and there's a ton of draconium ore in there. But for now, let's see. So debating how I want to do this, because I could just teach it how to turn draconium dust into draconium ingots on demand, or I could auto smelt my draconium dust. But the dust is used for things, as you can see. Like, it's used in quite a few crafting recipes. Not a ton, but a few. We already did draconium infused obsidian. Potentiometer is actually a really nice device. We've actually, did we play with that before? I think we've made one of those. The dislocator we've made already, and the tablet. That's pretty much all you need the dust for. And the dust you can get by putting the ingots into a crusher, right? So with that existing, I'm going to say we should auto smelt our draconium over here. Now the only thing is, this room is really set up for everything that comes in here gets sag milled and then smelted. Just because of the way that the wiring works underneath, right? We've got this set up to extract on brown. This does insert brown, extract blue. This does insert blue, extract green. So that's going to be kind of ish a problem. The other thing I could do is just make it like an on-demand thing, which I might wind up doing. Let's do that. Draconium ingots. This way it'll just smelt it on demand as we need it, right? That is the alloy smelter. This is the smelter. So let's get like 30 of these for now, just so it starts crafting it. And then we'll get our fusion crafting core with our draconic core. Start, boom, check, good, cool. The other thing we're going to need is basic fusion crafting. So we're going to need 9 of these. Okay, so we're going to need 9 draconic cores. Hefty cost in terms of diamonds, gold. Actually, a lot of stuff is expensive. I'm starting to second guess myself on whether or not I really have the resources to make one of these right now. But we'll find out. We're smelting more draconic cores. Cool. Almost there. There we go. Nice. All right, so that should be a good setup. The other thing we're going to need over there is power, which we can manage pretty easily. What I'm probably going to do, there's going to be a couple different ways I can go about doing this. For now, we're going to need power in this room, and we don't have the energy transfer system just yet from Draconic. So we'll set up the room. By the way, these guys definitely need to face the crafting core, okay? And they all need power. So let's get... See, power on the back would be cool. There's definitely neat ways to go about doing what I want to do. These guys are expensive by way of diamonds. Lots of diamonds, lots of redstone, lots of draconium. Basic is 2. Basic wireless. These are the expensive ones too. Wireless is a really neat system, but super expensive. 4 of those. I might be able to upgrade this system to Draconic right now. That might be doable. Let's do that. Let's upgrade this. And then we'll have a neat mechanic for getting power into this room. Cool. Okay. Let's definitely do that. Let's teach this system how to make these guys. We're also going to want to know how to make basic energy IO crystals and basic wireless crystals. And do you know how to make Eyes of Ender? No. So you're going to need to know how to make that. And we're going to need more patterns. 20 should be good. And you're also going to need to know how to make particle generators. Okay. Right, anything else you need? I think that's good, right? Nap time. So let's learn how the Draconic energy transfer system works. The only downside to it is it has a large internal buffer of power, but that's okay. Once it fills up, it'll be fine, and it won't really change much. So let's do... First off, I'm going to make there's 3 types of crystals. Energy relays, energy wireless, and energy IO, right? Your basic one is the relay, right? And that requires redstone blocks that you don't know how to make. So I should probably teach you how to make that real quick. And hopefully I have the resources for what I'm doing right now. Basic energy relay crystal. That's what we want first, okay? Lots of stuff, but no big deal. It'll go ahead and craft it. You can see it smelting up the draconium real quick. Nice. We've got these guys. Let's get another set of those. So the main ones you're going to be using are going to be the energy relay crystals and the energy IO crystals. Okay. And luckily, the energy relay and IO crystals kind of are crafted from each other, right? One of these turns into two of those, which is nice. Let's take a look in the book and see the attributes of these, right? So the way these work, and we're going to need a binder as well to demonstrate this. So let's make one of those. This is how you link the crystals together. So what do we got? Draconium times 2. And we're also going to want one of these. See, I'm already getting low on draconium. I've used half my draconium already. Good times. Gonna have to do something about that. Crystal binder. Nice. Okay. So, the way this works is, we're going to remove these guys for the time being. Sorry, Alpec. That's what happens, buddy. If you check out the book and read up about crystal energy IO, the IO is the input-output. These are the crystals you're going to use to get energy out of machines and put them into machines, okay? And you'll see the basic stats is that the basic tier, which is what we're working with right now, has a maximum links of 2, meaning that IO crystals can only link to 2 connections at a time, okay? Now, crystal relays can link to 8 connections at a time, but they don't connect to machines. They only connect to each other. So the IOs connect to machines to get energy in and out of a machine, input-output. The relays relay that energy to up to 8 different other energy crystals, which is pretty cool. Yeah, really neat. So let's set up. So we're going to want at least 4 IO crystals, right? One that's going to sit up here. And you'll notice that when you right-click this guy or look at it on the tooltip down there, it stores 4 million RF inside its capacitor. So this thing is currently like draining RF like crazy, right? We just sucked up a ton of RF. It's stored internal to that capacitor. So it's like a little battery that stores itself as well as all the energy. And it looks cool. So we're also going to want one over here. We're going to want one over here and over here. Okay. Now, when you look at these guys, you'll see their IO mode is in balance. If you want, you can set it to input or output. And if you read the book, you'll see what the difference is on those. So linking, basic IO, right? Input will make the crystal accept energy from the block it's attached to, and output will attempt to send energy to the block it's attached to, right? So basically what we're going to want is this guy to be on output because we want him to output energy to the phantom energy face and send it into that guy. This is going to be in input mode, and this is going to be on output, and this is going to be on output. Cool. And, you know, if you take a look, you could leave it in balance mode, but I kind of like setting input-output, right? Balance is not yet fully implemented, but is meant for use with energy conduits from other mods. So basically, let's not use balance. Cool. Now, the only thing we're going to need, right, the maximum number of connections or links that this energy crystal can have is 2. So it can only connect to 2 other crystals. If we want to connect to other crystals, we're going to want to use a basic energy relay. Now, this can be placed anywhere, and these guys I don't think have a range, or if they do, it's pretty large. Is there a range on these guys? I don't know that it really even says that there's a range. That connects them. So basically, I'm going to just place it right on top just for aesthetic purposes. Cool. So that's going to sit there. Neat. And now we can bind it, right? So if I right-click on this dude, sneak right-click to set the block you want to connect to, and then right-click to connect to that block. Cool. Now, he is losing his energy and sending it into here. This guy has his own internal buffer as well of around 4 million. Now, he's still connected, so if I went and sent energy over to here, I could do that pretty easily. Boom. And you can see like a nifty little energy beam going over there. That's indicating that energy is being transferred. when the energy is done being transferred, and you can see that internal capacitor filling up, that beam is going to get thinner. And we'll see that pretty soon. There it goes. It's thinning out because it's done transferring the energy to it. When it's not transferring energy any at all, I don't think it has any kind of a beam. And we'll see that on this one, right? We'll transfer 4 million RF over here. And there's this capacitor, it doesn't need RF at the moment. It's not running. So we'll see that that beam is going to get pretty thin pretty soon. Nice, right? And then it's going to disappear. This indicates that no energy is really being transferred over here. Sweet, right? And then finally we can get this guy. It's pretty cool, right? I like it. I like it a lot. What's up, Creeper? Come to see what I'm working on? Okay. So that is the Draconic Energy Transfer System, and it looks pretty neat. I like it. So we probably just burned up a bunch of power, filling up those internal capacitors, and we can see that right here. Yep. We even kicked on this thing. Nice. So I guess the other thing we're going to want to do is have... What I might want to have is a relay crystal here that this guy can connect to. And he'll fill up his internal buffer pretty quickly. Nice. That looks pretty cool. I like that a lot, actually. What I might even do is wind up moving these in a minute and having... I'm not sure, but maybe we would even... We could put the energy crystal, like... Because this thing's all complicated to account for the way things work. Oh, we'll see. I might rearrange this a little bit. It might be cooler to have the basic energy relay crystal sit right here and have the IO crystal sit like inside the building and have the beam coming up through the building to connect to it. I'm not sure. But the other thing we're going to want to go along with this is finally the wireless RF crystal, energy crystal, right? Now this requires a basic energy relay, so I'm going to put one in there so it doesn't have to craft one. So it's got basic energy crystal, basic wireless energy crystal is what we're going to craft. We already have available one basic. So what are we missing? Blaze rods. Really? Blaze rods? Is that what we don't have a lot of? Let me run off to the nether real quick. Do I have a blaze spawner? Broken spawner silverfish. So I could go find a blaze spawner in the nether. Or I could capture one and replace that silverfish spawner. Those are my options for getting lots of blaze rods. Because we're going to want to automate blaze rods at some point. But just to get through the time being, I'm probably just going to fill a few of these real fast. I think that's enough blaze rods. Should be. Teleporting home. Okay. So blaze rods. So we're going to want the wireless energy crystal. Missing 2. I never taught you how to make blaze rods. Or blaze dust. So you get... From the crusher, from the sag mill, you get 4. And I'm going to remove this sulfur dust list. And you're the sag mill, and you get 4. Now we can make a wireless energy crystal, right? Nice. Cool. So this one's a little bit expensive, obviously, but it does something really, really cool. And I'm going to show it to you pretty much right now. As soon as it's done crafting. Nice. Wireless energy crystal. This guy can connect to multiple machines at once. So the IO crystal is meant to get energy in and out of machines. If you wanted to power like a dozen different machines with this IO crystal, you would have to put an IO crystal on each machine. Kind of like an energy conduit would have to go on each machine, right? The basic wireless energy crystal is wireless, okay? So check this out. If we got this Draconic binder, and we shift right-clicked him to set the binding, and right-clicked this dude, he would start getting power, right? And he's getting power from this guy, right? It's going through that block, which is neat, right? So we can see the energy leaving there. We can see a buildup of energy in here, which again has a 4 million RF capacitor. So it's holding 4 million RF. It can link up to 4 different crystals, as we can see in the tooltip down there, and it has 16 wireless links. Check this out. If I shift right-click this dude and right-click each of these, it can wirelessly connect to all these different machines and supply all of them power. Nice, right? That's cool. So, and we can see those connections with the crystal binder in our hand. So with that, this basic energy relay crystal, which now has 9 out of 16 links in use, can connect to these 9 machines, all of which require power. How awesome is that? I like it. It's very neat. So, it's also expensive. Like, we used 2/3 of our Draconic dust just setting this stuff up. Wyvern fusion crafting injectors. If I wanted to make some of these, wow. For each one of these, we need a block of Draconium. We're going to need a lot more Draconium to get to the Draconic tier. That's a thing. How about armor? Can I get Draconic armor going yet? Yes-ish, but it's still expensive. Requires nether stars. Draconic armor is pretty awesome. Let's see what else we might want to do. All right, so I'm going to make 6 more of these. This is going to literally use up the last of my Draconic dust, okay? And I'm going to make the first piece of Wyvern armor, which is cool. So, in theory, I've got the stuff to make it. Nice. The reason I want to make my first tier of armor, which, by the way, is going to start charging up, is that Draconic Wyvern armor is cool. It comes, and you can see on the bottom left there, with its own built-in energy shield. Now, let's see if I can remember which hotkey I bound. Okay, I remember now. It's this hotkey. Neat. So there's a heads-up display, otherwise known as a HUD, which is available on your screen. You can see it on my screen here on the bottom left. When we turn on HUD, we can change all kinds of information about the HUD display and shield settings and other stuff, right? This is the shield settings section down here. If I want to change the scale a little bit, which I do, I can change that. We can also change the fade out settings, whether or not it's rotated. You can move it around by clicking and dragging, whether the numbers are shown, all kinds of good stuff, and whether it's hidden altogether. Neat. So that's cool. This heads-up display is, I think, what we've been looking at. So that's pretty cool as well. And I'm going to just kind of reposition this dude a little bit. Nice. Fade out. That's how much it's faded. So I'm going to leave it off. Cool. So I've got Draconic armor. And I think I just adjusted the scale of the bottom right thing. So the basic energy crystal information is scaled down a little bit. Neat. Why do I like this armor? Because it has a built-in shield. And you can see the information on the shield. There's upgrades, which we're not going to apply just yet. But on the bottom left, we can see the shield protection armor amount. And if monsters attack us, they damage the shield first. Now, the shield has this entropy number, which you can see on the bottom right, entropy of 6. The more entropy you get, the slower the shield regenerates. And the shield, I want to say, I think it's the number down there. You can see how much energy we've got is the blue bar. The green bar might represent your entropy. And then the numbers, the 38 out of 38, that's your shield. So this stuff is really good. But trust me, you start taking more damage and your entropy starts to build up, that shield will break, and then you'll start taking damage. But it's definitely a cool, nifty mechanic. So we're going to need more Draconium. We're probably also going to need more Power Gen soon. So let's flip on this dude. We're going to let our quarry run for a little bit. Hopefully we'll get a decent amount more Draconium. I think I might need to go visit the end next episode, though. I'm going to try and avoid the end dragon and all her shenanigans. And I'm going to go fly around and look for some of those meteorites that have a lot of Draconium ore in them. Make sure to bring a drill that has, or any other tool that has a good amount of efficiency on it, like Fortune, because Draconium dust drops like redstone, so Fortune definitely applies. For now, it's wrapping up point. So Darryl20 signing off. Hope you guys enjoyed the episode. We will come back next time, try and find more Draconium dust, but we've got started with Draconic Evolution, which is pretty awesome. We're also probably going to rapidly need more power, and we're going to have to deal with that soon. Oh, you know what else I might need? we're doing all right on disk storage, but we might need more storage space in our refined storage system soon-ish. All right, for now, Direwolf20 signing off. Like I said, hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and as always, please do take it easy.